An urban legend is a tale that was passed down from person to person so long that it's been lost to time. Most of these tales can't be tracked back far enough to find out where they came from, and they cover such a sweeping range of people, places, and things that it's really hard to track if there's any truth to them. Some tales, however, are a little bit more specific. They take place in a specific time, place, and on a vessel. Today, we'll take a look at one of the horrific tales that sounds like it came straight out of a Lovecraftian horror. Let's take a look at the Philadelphia Experiment. U.S. Navy destroyer escort the USS Eldridge is the subject of this tale, and the year is 1943. The story is a little out there. Starting his journey in the Philadelphia Navy Yard in Pennsylvania, rumors were starting to circulate that the Navy was looking for a way to make their vessels invisible to help aid them in battle. One test labeled Project Rainbow supposedly rendered the ship invisible, leaving a strange green fog in its place. Afterwards, the crew members would complain of nausea and headaches, so the test wasn't perfect yet. After a collaboration of their equipment, the test was repeated on October 28, 1943, but something went wrong. Instead of just disappearing, the Eldridge vanished, and supposedly reappeared in Norfolk, Virginia, over 200 miles away. It sat in full view of the merchant ship SS Andrew Forsyth, before vanishing again and returning home to Philadelphia. Some say it was gone for about 10 minutes. Now that's all goofy and wacky and fun, but it's not what left people with nightmares. Crew members of the Eldridge now had more severe side effects. Some claim that the crew that lived through the ordeal developed sporadic bouts of disappearing and severe mental illness, but were brainwashed to forget what they had seen. Other crew members were reported missing, vaporized, or in two horrific cases, fused to the ship. It seems in an attempt to make the ship invisible, they actually dematerialized it and teleported it along with everything on board, and if I know my 1986 The Fly, that doesn't usually end well. The story ends with the idea that the Navy saw what a failure the experiment was and abandoned the whole thing. But it's just an urban legend, right? Nothing but scary stories. Or was it? There are elements to the story that suggests it might be true. For one, the Eldridge was actually seen by somebody where it didn't belong. In 1955, auto parts salesman and amateur astronomer Morris J. Jessup had written the book The Case for the UFO, which he speculated that anti-gravity and electromagnetism would be a more efficient means of propulsion for space vehicles than rocket fuel. The following year, Jessup received letters from one Carl Allen, a noted disturbed individual. He told Jessup that he was aboard the Andrew Forsyth when the USS Eldridge appeared in Norfolk. He claims that he, as well as a few others, witnessed the crew members of the Eldridge disappear one night during a bar fight. It was these claims that put the Philadelphia Experiment on people's radar. UFOs and conspiracies on one end of the spectrum, the other end wants to rationalize how this legend came to be. The legend may have risen from the fact that in the 40s the Navy did conduct experiments to try to make their vessels invisible in the Philadelphia Naval Yard. Scientists ran an electric current through hundreds of meters of electrical cable around the hull of the ships to see if they could make them technically invisible to underwater sources and surface mines. For example, Germany had underwater magnetic mines that would attach themselves to the hulls of the ship as they passed by. The electric current would render the ship invisible to these mines. This could explain why people may have seen a strange green glow around the hull of the Eldridge while it was docked in Philadelphia. Of course, the Navy denies that there's any shred of truth to this story. Most have concluded that Allen was just a disturbed individual who was trying to rile people up and lied in his letters. Of course, there's no way to confirm any of these letters because Jessup also took his life. As for the codename Project Rainbow, no projects with that title have ever been related to teleportation or in the invisibility experiments. The ship that supposedly witnessed the teleportation? The Andrew SS Furuseth was en route to Orin with convoy UGS-22 on the date of the supposed experiment, and didn't return to the Mediterranean until January 17th. And the nail in the conspiracy coffin, other crew members of the Eldridge claimed none of their colleagues ever had any bouts of random disappearances. If you're a believer, you might find it frustrating that a lot of evidence points to this just being a hoax, one that spawned many books, movies, and documentaries. So why bring it up? I like to stir up intrigue and conversation. It's maybe part of my creepypasta past, but historical events based in horror, whether they're true or not, intrigue me. But tell me what you think. Do you believe in the teleporting ship that ruined the lives of many crew members, and those that deny it have just been brainwashed to say so? Imagination can be its own form of horror. Thanks for watching. For more true crime, true horror, conspiracy theories, and bad horror movie reviews, please consider subscribing. Game with me on Twitch every Saturday. Follow me on Twitter. And as always, be well.